Sure. Hey everyone. Glad you made it to the Blissful Flow this morning. We're going to be moving, but we're not going to be over ambitious today. I'm not planning on doing like any fancy poses necessarily, because we are rolling into the full moon on Friday, which is also a lunar eclipse. This is the longest lunar eclipse we've had since the 1440 or something like that. So I talked about the eclipse on Monday, so I'm not going to talk about it today. I wanted to switch gears. Those of you that were with me in 2020, which I know a couple of you were with me last year, popping into some classes, I kept talking about the fact that we have all gone through a collective trauma. We talk about trauma being things that happen to us personally, but we don't necessarily talk about collective traumas. And the whole world has gone through this collective trauma. Our society has gone through this collective trauma. Our community has gone through a collective trauma. Our families have gone through a collective trauma. Our whole foundation was like cracked, wide open. And Sarah and I were just, sharing a few words together, and we were talking about, we're just hanging on, It's like we're still just kind of in that survival mode. You may not be feeling like you're thriving necessarily after all this impact. And that's where I want to go today with this practice, because there was a student that I actually met after the studio closed. I met her through Liberation. After I had to close Half Moon, I was working at 4 different studios, trying to help studios stay open, because a lot of the teachers weren't coming back, and my goal was I didn't want to see any other studios close. So that's where I was putting a lot of my attention. And I met this woman who works for the health department. So you can imagine the health department. Can you imagine the stress load they've been under since COVID began? And she's been online with me this entire time, doing the online program. And she reached out to me last week and said she was having a lot of health issues show up. And she's experiencing chronic fatigue. And she wanted me to focus on the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is something that I bring up on occasion. Whenever we were in the old studio, I would talk about having an eye bag over the forehead. We had towels available, but I would always tell people, yes, the towels are good, but the weight of the eye bag is even better, because the weight of the eye bag has been shown scientifically to stimulate and to calm the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is a nerve that comes down the brainstem and travels down into the stomach and intestine area, but it also has an effect on the heart and lungs, and it also is included within the throat and the facial muscles. So we're going to do a practice today specifically for the vagus nerve. Now, there's something called, and you can help me, Mandy, because she's our doctor in the house. By the way, Mandy is someone that you should know. Her official name is Amanda Ryden, and she was an ER doctor in Spring Hill. Through COVID, she wasn't even able to find another ER job because of what was happening. You would think, what? That they didn't need her at the time. Because it was all specifically geared towards COVID. So she ended up doing a lot of extra studying and research and training, and is now open for her own practice. I'll see where I'm laying under functional medicine. Functional medicine is going to the root cause of the problem instead of just putting the Band-Aid on top, so to speak. Yeah, you can talk about that more later. But with the vagus nerve, there's things that we can do to help. We can practice mindfulness. We can do tapping. We can do conscious breathing, and there are poses that can open up the areas where the vagus nerve resides that can help to activate the vagus nerve. Now, with the vagus nerve, they talk about there being a vagal tone, and I had to research what is vagal tone. So if your vagal tone is healthy, it means that we can flow back and forth between the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And we need both, right? So the sympathetic nervous system is when we are stressed. It sends like cortisol through the body. And when we're opening up the parasympathetic nervous system, that's when we can move into relaxation. We can be calm. We can respond. Sympathetic, because of the stress, we react, right? So there's times where we need both. And we need to be able to flow through both of these different patterns in our body in order to maintain emotional, mental, and physical health. So tapping can be done, conscious breathing, mindfulness, postures. These are just a few of the things, as well as something over the brow. This isn't a lot of weight, but at least it's something. But that's why I would always encourage bring an eye bag, you know. The weight of it really can help. So I've been sleep deprived since last Friday. I think I'm feeling a lot of the Scorpio energy. I'm feeling this full moon energy way ahead of time. And so what I've been doing is I've been using my eye pillow at night. I've been putting my lavender eye pillow on. I just started this 2 nights ago because I realized this has been going on since last Friday. I'm exhausted. So I've been doing that before I go to sleep at night. Highly encourage you to do the same. Legs at the wall is a great way to ignite the parasympathetic nervous system. It's a natural sedative for the mind. It's a sedative for the nervous system to calm you down enough to be able to lull yourself into sleep. So anyway, this is still a blissful flow. We're still going to be moving, but we're going to do a little bit of these practices. And then in the gentle practice, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So anyway, we're going to start sitting upright. I would suggest maybe sitting on top of a prop so that you have your hips elevated, makes it a little easier to maintain the natural curve, low back. Close your eyes. Let your shoulders relax down and away from your ears. Even though the sternum is picking up, the crown of the head is rising up. Just take a moment to notice the muscles of your face. Can you soften your brow? Can you soften the space between the eyes and surrounding the eyes? You relax your cheeks. The interior and exterior of your mouth. Begin taking some diaphragmatic breaths. In my research, I discovered that if you have a healthy vagal tone, the heart rate increases slightly on the inhalation, and the heart rate should decrease on the exhalation. We're not going to do a heart rhythm meditation today, but if you're interested in this, research it later. Heart rhythm meditation starts to notice how many beats the heart rate has as you're breathing in and out through the nose, and even during times where you hold the breath. But we're not going to hold the breath today. We're going to allow the inhalation to roll into the exhalation, and one breath to roll right into the next. We may explore that heart rhythm meditation on another future time together. So just breathing in a diaphragmatic way has a calming effect on the mind and the body, nervous system. Diaphragmatic breathing is often what is suggested when you're triggered and start to move into fight, flight, or freeze. That can happen when the sympathetic nervous system is highly stressed. So place your right hand now on the abdomen and your left hand over your heart. And as you continue to take some deep diaphragmatic breaths, ensure that you're feeling this wave-like motion between the two hands. There should be movement underneath both. This is also a great breath to practice when you're feeling anxious, having bouts of anxiety. All that nervous energy can depart with conscious breathing. Let's take one more, feeling the movement underneath the hands. Perhaps even noticing the effect it's already had upon you. On your next in-breath, you can crack your eyelids open. We're going to take the fingertips to the top of the shoulders and fly the elbows upward. The pits of the arms are wide open here as well. And as you inhale, you're going to lift your chest, draw the head and the shoulders back. And then as you exhale, the head will tilt forward as the arms come closer together. Now you can make this a little cat-cow if you prefer, so you can lean forward as you open the heart and throat. And as you exhale, you can pull the navel in towards the spine to make a little bit of a cat stretch. So you can be as subtle or as dramatic as your body allows. Think about all the nerves that are coming down through the brainstem and traveling down through the spinal cord. All the nerve plexuses where the chakras are said to be, and how they branch out into the body at different points. Continue to flow with your breath, and some of you may have already ignited the Ujjayi Pranayama. The Ujjayi Pranayama is the audible sounding breath, where you constrict the back of your throat. And that breath is really nice when you're doing this type of flow because you create a rhythm with that breath. You can hear the sound of the breath, and the movement can be the dance that follows along. Let's do one more. Back to sit and remove that bolster off to the side. You can use that later for Shavasana. We're now going to come into a passive crocodile position. So passive crocodile, we're going to fan the feet, the Why does it have to? The chest is propped up, but the arms are going to stack, and then you're going to place the forehead here so that you're face down. There should be plenty of space underneath your nose to be able to comfortably breathe. Relax the legs and soften your seat. Try not to grip in your low back, even though you have this little upliftment. Let your head stay supported with the arms. And this is very similar, even though we're in a completely different posture. Remember how I mentioned just a little weight on the forehead has been shown scientifically to activate and calm the vagus nerve? We're doing something similar here when we're allowing the forehead to rest with pressure. Now, I like to believe that it's because of the marma point. The marma point is here. It's like an acupressure point at the center of the forehead. And this acupressure point or marma point is said to help to induce some mental peace. And we know that peace can come in to the mind and body when we're in the parasympathetic nervous system. What we're going to practice here is not diaphragmatic breathing, but we're going to focus on inhaling to the count of 4 and exhaling to the count of 6 or 8 or more. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out to a longer count. And since we all have a different lung capacity, I'm going to let you continue your practice in silence. Meditating on counting at least to 4. And if you can take more oxygen into your lungs, you can take it to a higher count to maybe 6, but then breathe out to 8 or more. In teacher training, we offer a segment on trauma-sensitive yoga. And we talk about when we're experiencing that trigger with trauma, how the mind tends to get disconnected from the body. And then the breath becomes very erratic. The emotions get out of control, or we tend to freeze. So if or when you ever notice that occurrence within yourself, try to remember this moment in time to practice some conscious breath work. Chronic stress and trauma can lead to major fatigue, anxiety, and depression. Take 2 more of these breaths. And then on your next inhale, line up your legs to be parallel, stretch the leg bones back behind you, point through your toes. Inhale, lift your head, shoulders, chest, walk your elbows in so that the forearms are aligning in stance. So your legs are shooting back, your feet are glued to the floor, your buttocks is squeezing, your belly's retracting, your elbows are rooting, the heart is flying up, the throat is wide open. Find a comfortable gaze with your eyes and set your eyes on one sedentary place. Think about where the vagus nerve resides, where I mentioned it traveled to. Make sure that you have that ballooning effect in your belly. Even though the navel is slightly drawing in and up. From Sphinx pose, you're going to exhale, lower the head and the heart, slide your hands back up underneath your shoulders, push up to all fours to tabletop position, and you may have to walk the hands back once you align the hips over the knees. Splay the fingers nice and wide, root down through the whole hand, not just bearing the weight in your wrist. Push down through your shins, the tops of the ankles and feet, so that your arms feel more lined up and stronger and your belly's coming in towards your back body. So tabletop position is strengthening the muscles and the bones, different than what we're doing with cat-cow, which is why I wanted you to hold this for a moment. Now we're going to start bringing that flexion into the spine. So as we inhale, tilt the sits bones upward, spill the navel downward, lift your head and heart. Exhale, draw the tailbone down, the belly up, hide the heart away, chin to chest. And then continue, inhale. And exhale. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Now inhale, flat back, tabletop position. Walk your hands just a baby step beyond that point. Curl your toes under. Launch into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Press into the palms, slightly diving them away from each other so that you feel the external rotation through the upper arm bones. Let your head bow between the head, gaze in the direction of the feet or beyond. I posted a meme the other day about this pose, and it said how to anger a yogi. And someone in the background is, yoga is just stretching. And the woman holding this pose says, what did you say? That angered tone. Because if you're doing this pose properly, it's not just about flexibility. You can tell you have to muster up some strength in order to maintain the proper alignment and engagement. So we use the breath as the way to stay calm and centered while we're here, while we're being tested with our strength and affirming internally within. Calmness is beginning to radiate throughout every fiber of my being. On your next inhale, lift high to the toes, exhale, sink down to the knees, and then untuck the feet. And I'm going to turn to face you. You're going to take your right leg off to the side. When you take your right leg off to the side, float your hands up. Turn the foot out towards the main door. Reach the arms out shoulder height. When you're ready, lunge into that knee. Good. Inhale, straighten out the leg. Exhale, lunge the knee. Good. Doing that again as we breathe. Inhale, straighten. Exhale into the lunge. Try to keep the head over the shoulders and the heart over the pelvis instead of leaning with your waist. Good. Inhale, one more. Good. Exhale, return to that. Bring the elbow down. Fly that other arm skyward. Pausing for a moment just to get the stretch through the inner thigh and the hip. Focus on the breathing. Now attempt to stay leaning out over the leg as you re-straighten and slide your hand down the shin. Take the top arm and now reach it across the ear. Parigasana gate pose. Breathe into your side body. And affirming here, waves of joy surge upward in my spine. So say that internally to yourself and curl the outer lips up as you repeat it. Waves of joy are surging upward in my spine. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, bring the hands down just to safely lower that knee, to extend the left leg, plant the foot. When you're ready, come on up. Now the toes will probably be turned in, so turn them out. Reach the arms out, shoulder height. And when you're ready, take the lunge in the knee. Try not to lean with your waist. And then inhale, slowly come back to the top. Good, exhaling. Inhaling. Just moving with your breath. Still just warming up. Now bring that elbow to rest. Take the other arm upward. It's almost like a modified side angle in a way. Make sure that knee is not collapsing in. Staying facing the center of your foot. Good, now stay curved over, but straighten the leg, hand to the shin. Top arm will curve. Straighten out through the fingertips for that dynamic stretch. Open up the breath of life. Close the eyes, curl the outer lips up, affirming waves of joy surge upward in my spine. So there's been scientific research that just even faking a smile can shift our mood. Inhale, let's come back up. Good, exhale, bring the hands back down. Bring that knee down as well. Make sure your hands are slightly beyond the shoulders. We're gonna curl the toes. Launch again to our second downward facing dog. But instead of just remaining here, we're gonna travel the feet forward to the top of the mat. Shift the weight forward towards the toes and bow over and down. Feel free to nod your head to make sure your neck's not holding any unnecessary tension. Connect to your hamstrings. And then try to magnetize the heart lower towards your knees or shins, even though it's not going to touch. In forward folds, I often mention you can emphasize or have a longer exhalation. The reason for that being is exactly the theme that we're talking about today, for the vagus nerve. Affirming as you hold, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back from being true to myself. On the next inhalation, sweep the arms to the sides and up overhead. Ardha. And bring the hand down to prayer position at the heart. Once you center the hands at the heart, we're going to begin a flow. Make sure you're at the top of the mat, because as we inhale, the arms are going to circle back up. And as we exhale, the palms are going to join together, and we're going to humbly bow again. This time, as you fold over into your Uttanasana, we're going to inhale, come halfway up. You're going to stay with the breath. Let the exhale take you back down. On your next inhale, the right foot is gonna step way back. Lunge that knee, plant your back foot. We're gonna focus on warrior two poses today. But we're going to do little flows. We're gonna kind of change it up a little bit. So open up your palms. On the inhalation, you're straightening the front leg, lifting the arms to brighten the face. You can look at the front door when you do so. And then as you exhale, you can turn back to gaze down your left hand once you lunge the knee. And we're just gonna flow this way. Inhale and exhale. Continue. You can practice that diaphragmatic breathing. You can also practice that Ujjayi pranayama. Do one more. Now hold. Lift the navel up. Lift up to your side waist. Maintaining the firm foundation of the lower body. Exhale, bring the hands down. Once you cartwheel down, spin away from your back heel, left foot to plank. Now in plank, we're gonna do a little flow here. We're gonna try to use the quads and the core to inhale, shift the shoulders past the wrists. And then as we exhale, we're gonna slide back into the calves and heels. Okay, it's just a shifting, inhale forward. And you can do this from tabletop position if you need to lower the knees. Inhale forward, exhale back. This time as we inhale, come forward, we're gonna exhale, drop to Chaturanga. Inhale, rise into upward facing dog. Exhale, rock and roll back over the toes and return to downward facing dog. And breathe. Notice if you're holding tension in your face. If you are, soften the muscles like we did at the very start of the class. On the next inhale, we'll bring the right foot to establish it between the hands. We'll spin down to the back heel. We'll bring it up to Virabhadrasana 2, checking the foot placement, making sure you have equanimity in the side body, and then open up your palms. Inhale, straighten the right leg, let the arms float up. Turn to face the side wall, and then exhale, lunge the knee, splay the arms, gaze down the right hand. Same practice we did before, second side. Last one. Hold for a brevity of time. Exhale, release out. Springboard the back foot forward, lift up halfway upon arrival. And then exhale, let go. Inhale all the way to the top. Exhale, hands to heart. Second sun out. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, humbly fold. In and halfway up to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release down. Inhale, we're stepping the right foot back. We're turning and planting the back foot down. We're bringing it up, Virabhadrasana 2. This is what we're working with today. Flip your left hand only. Inhale, take that side or reverse warrior. And then inhale back to Virabhadrasana 2. Good, breathe it in up. Breathe it out and bring the left hand down. Inhaling. Exhaling, return to center. Good, one more. The lower body stays stable. Try not to rock the hips. Now hold. Firm, and I joyfully manifest the power of my internal and external strength. They say it's that vagal tone that gives us that state of resiliency. Now spin away from the back heel, left foot plank. So again, if you need to be on the knees for this, you can. We're going to inhale, shift forward, exhale back. Just a tipping forward on the inhale and releasing back on the exhale. The next time you tip forward, start to drop low to chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, rock and roll back over the feet to downward facing dog. Find your breath if you lost it. Control it if you lost the management of it. And feel free to be in child's pose if you need to be. Inhale, let's walk the right foot through. Plant your back foot down. Bring it up, warrior two. And then we'll start the second flow. Make sure the thighs stay wide open. Flip your right hand. Inhale, reverse that forward. Exhale, pick up the left hand, lower the right. Inhale. And so all the mobility or the movement is coming into play with the upper body. The lower body stays stable. Hold it. Shoulders relax from the ears. Bring the hands down, spin away from the back heel. When you're ready, launch the back foot forward. Rise up halfway. Create some space. Exhale, hold. Be here. Check in with your heart rate. Check in with your jaw. Check in with your higher self. Inhale, root to rise. And exhale, bring hands to the heart. All right, we're going to do another sunset out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands together to help us center as we fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, right foot steps back. Back heel drops down. Bring it up on the inhale to warrior two. This time we can face towards Katie and Sarah, towards the front door, hands to the heart. We're going to inhale, open the arms to the winged position. Exhale, hands to heart. Keep that left thigh rolling open, the right leg straight. Inhale, arms open. Good. Exhale, return them to the front. Good again. All about the breath. Movement is secondary. Last one. Now hold the winged position. Now straighten your arms and turn your gaze down the left fingertips. Helicopter down to the lunge. Stepping into your plank. Feel free to be in tabletop. We're shifting forward on the inhale and back on the exhale. So it's easy to use the feet, but see if you can use your quads and core. Good, now shift forward, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Hold and breathe. Noticing the repetition of down dog, it gets easier to hold. You've been waking these muscles up. You may have a calmer presence while you're here now. Inhale, let's establish the right foot to the front. So bury the back heel down. Come up to warrior two. Facing the other side wall, bringing the hands to prayer. And we'll begin. Mindful movement. Inhale, arms open, heart opens. Exhale, bring the palms back together, Anjali Mudra. This time, hold the gate open, the gate of your heart. Straighten out the arms, turn your gaze down the right fingertips. We're gonna helicopter down, sit away from the back heel. We're not stepping to the front this time. We're bringing the right foot back and lowering to the knees. When you sit back towards your heels, your knees are gonna open up. And you're gonna flip your palms to turn open. Chinese medicine, the outer and small intestine, triple heater. And we're gonna move into the ones for the intestines. So the right hand's in front, we're gonna slip and slide the arms through to lower the head down. Now, it may be that your head hovers and your chin may be resting on the upper arms. If you want a place for the head to rest, if it doesn't touch, you're welcome to bring in, a blanket or something. But we're also aiding that pressure point at the brow. Maybe notice your heartbeat. If it's sped up, just controlling the breath can help slow it down. There's other practices that can help, like with this theme today, such as yoga nidra. There's many resources where you can find yoga nidra. I even have some on that YouTube channel. I have some with moving meditations that are pre-recorded meditations, but you could Google it or go to YouTube and find plenty of resources to use at home. Yoga nidra is what's called the state of sleepless sleep. It's a guided meditation that tours you through your body, that allows you to play with sensation, to show the power of the mind. And you can also take a mental vacation, moving deeper into the psyche. And the study behind yoga nidra says that it helps us to go into the same brain waves that we typically only get to when we're in a deep round of sleep. Inhale, let's slowly grip in the belly to bring ourselves up, to slide the hands in. And then we're going to take the left hand out in front now. And we're going to slide back through, back down to the brow. Again, two of the main culprits behind losing some of this vagal tone is chronic stress or trauma. Trauma that hasn't been resolved. For instance, if you're still dealing with PTSD, take 2 more. So when you come up, draw the legs together, lift away from your heels, step forward with one foot, and bring yourself to stand. We're going to do Garudaasana. So that was a warm-up for the arms. So if you bend your knees and cross your right leg over the left, when you are squeezing the inner thighs together, make sure the knees still point straight ahead so that one's not rolling them left or right. Draw up through the navel so the belly kind of suctions in and up. And then you're going to hook your right arm under your left and try to intertwine them together. Up, your gaze set at one place. Steady, even breaths. And at the center of left storms, I choose to remain serene. As you exhale, you're going to hinge forward. Grounded and rooted in the left foot. Inhale, drop back up, Garudaasana. Release your arms and legs. Make sure the toes point forward. Left leg will now hook over the right. Once you bind the legs, stabilize with your core. Left arm underneath the right. Fingers extend up. Gaze at one spot. Even out the breath. The full moon has a way of triggering our emotions, amplifying and exaggerating our emotions. So this is a good thing to lead us into this lunar eclipse. And gently hinge forward. The elbows don't have to touch the knees, so don't worry about that. Good. Separate your feet. And do a twisting kriya. So you can put a little bounce in the knees. The arms are really loose and limp. The head can turn as you swivel. So any twist is really good for the stomach and the gallbladder meridians. Vagus nerve down into the stomach intestines. Slow it down. Not as much fast. Bring ourselves back down. When you come down, you yes, you get on with this. So bring your bolster back. You definitely want to do some tapping. I think tapping is important. This is used a lot in trauma-sensitive yoga. A lot of psychiatrists are starting to use this too. And basically, it's just like it sounds, tapping. So the first thing we're going to do is just raindrop and tap our head. Right? And take it down to the back of the neck. Sides of the neck. Behind the ears. Across the ears. And then you can sprinkle the fingers. If you're playing piano. And then come to the hairline. And then down the brow. And again, sprinkling all up and down between the eyebrows and the hairline. To the temples. And then find one of the fingers and tap that marma point, the center of the forehead, the mind's eye, the third eye, the spiritual eye. And that space between the eyes. Go around to the outside of the eyes and underneath the eyes. Across to the cheeks. Back and forth. Side bridge of the nose. The smile lines. The underside of the cheeks. Upper lip. To the chin. Underneath the jaw. Lift the chin, start to move across the throat. Collarbones. Chest. Just stay at the upper part of the chest. There's another marma or acupressure point at the top of the sternum. So find the top of that breastbone. It's heart chakra. Tap on the chest. To the collarbones. Sides of the neck. Up to the chin. Under the jaw. To the upper lip. To the smile line. To the cheeks. Bridge of the nose. Under the eyes. Around the eyes. Back to the forehead. back to the top of the head, to the back of the head. Press the hands to the left. Eyes closed. I discover that even just sitting and tapping is a good segue to meditation. That is how it really helps you connect back to your body and how it took you away from your thoughts. If you would like to stay upright and seated meditation, you're welcome to. If you would prefer, I would suggest a back bend because that's going to open up this area for the heart, excuse me, and the lungs. And then if you grab that towel, I would suggest placing it over the brow and the eyes. Turn your palms open as your arms span to the sides of you. The first thing I want you to acknowledge is the weight that's sinking down through the heels of your feet. Let them remain there. Feeling the distance between the two heels and the toes fanning away. Bring relaxation up through the lower portion of the legs. Softening both knees. Relaxing the front, the back, the inner and outer thighs. Notice the weight in your seat. Perhaps noticing if one side feels a little heavier than the other. And it will be the same. Feel the support beneath your back. Let your whole upper body go. Feeling how the contour of the back bend is creating a little bit more room. The belly. How it's lifting the center of your chest. How the shoulders feel as though they're ankling back.
some softness into the upper arms. Feel the weight resting in the lower arms. Any space that you feel like you're holding between your fingers or in the palm of the hand, invite it in through the pores of your skin. The head be heavy. The neck and the throat can release. Maybe even slightly part the lip so that your jaw is loosened. Feel the warmth and gentle pressure of the towel. It shields some of that external light. Stay within, focus within, quiet within. The remainder of the time here.
your heart rate and breath rate. Begin to activate your breathing. Get more under your head. Maybe bring some movement into your hands and feet. Perhaps walking the feet your way. Or even like rocking the knees a little here. If you feel ready, you can roll to one side. See. One of the key points here is remembering that we need a balance. We need to be able to fluctuate between sympathetic and parasympathetic. We need to be able to raise our heartbeat. We need to be able to slow down the heartbeat. So continue to practice your mindfulness, your body awareness, mental awareness, tapping anything that we brought into play today to help to promote a healthy vagal tone. Now let's join our palms together to prayer position at heart. Light in me honors and respectfully bows to the beautiful radiant light in each of you. And we all walk away from this practice feeling more peace at home in our bodies, hearts, and minds. May we be the beacon of light as we depart from our practice for others.